Hey everybody, thought I would do a quick update on what's going on in Ukraine and just keep everyone up to date on the latest news from this conflict in the east of Ukraine and the political maneuvering that is now taking place. So from my last video, I talked about how the Donbas militia, the East Ukraine army, I'll call them the Donbas militia from now on, how they were holding the line and they were preventing the Ukraine army from moving forward past the contact line. And as of today, Monday morning, this still holds. The Donbas militia has prevented the Ukraine army from pushing further past the contact line and into East Ukraine, further into East Ukraine. This obviously has provided Russia the opportunity to really not get involved in this conflict, though they're ready to get involved should the Ukraine army break through, which is still a possibility. The more time goes by, the more it seems like the Ukraine army will not be able to break through, and this has given Russia the ability to not use some of the capabilities that they've positioned in and around the area in order to prevent a Ukraine attack should they break through the contact line. And so this has actually led to what I believe is the diplomatic maneuvering that we've seen taking place. Macron has had 2 calls with Putin, and Blinken will be meeting with Lavrov on the 24th. And it looks like Biden and Putin have also agreed to discuss what's going on in Ukraine. Zelensky was in Munich, and he was looking just absolutely pathetic, running around saying that Ukraine is going to now start developing nuclear weapons, which is a complete joke. For various reasons, Ukraine is not in a position to go nuclear, nor would Russia let them go nuclear. So it was just a pathetic attempt at Zelensky trying to garner attention and trying to get money. I mean, he pretty much said it when he was in Munich running around, give us money or we're going to develop nuclear weapons. So it was really a sad thing to witness and to see. But, all this diplomatic activity now, I believe, is a result of the fact that the Ukraine army has still not been able to break through. They're pushing and they're throwing everything they have at trying to break that contact line and create some sort of victory on the battlefield, something that could goad the Russians into taking action, but they have not been successful. Now, this changes hour by hour, day by day, so something could happen and everything could change. But the time being, the line is holding, and this is what is leading to a lot of the diplomatic activity that is now shaping up to take place this week. Believe me, if the Ukraine army was able to break through and advance further into East Ukraine, prompting the Russians to take action, then there would be no diplomatic activity, there would be no Macron phone calls, there would be no Blinken meeting Lavrov, and there would be no Biden agreeing to speak with Putin. So all of this, I believe, is a dynamic of the Donbas militia being able to stand their ground. And that's a good thing. Let's continue to hope that it holds. The more the days pass and the more the Ukraine army can't break through, the better it is for the situation to calm down, for the diplomacy to progress. Now, this hasn't stopped the media from going crazy because, the one thing that Biden does have that is effective is the soft power, the media propaganda. And boy, are they using it. We've said many times that the Biden White House is all about optics. It's a fantasy land. Nothing is real. And the stories they're pushing out are absolutely crazy. They're now saying they're going to evacuate, or they're actually suggesting that Americans living in Moscow and St. Petersburg evacuate the city. They're talking about some sort of attack, and they keep it so open-ended. I mean, it's like, it's just absolute plausible deniability to the max. You know, they're saying that there's going to be an attack on Russia by the Russian government, on Russian citizens, and on American citizens, and that attack could take place in Moscow or St. Petersburg. They're saying that attack could be targeting metro stations, hotels, restaurants, bars, you name it. So they just leave it completely open-ended, and given that information that they say is from very reliable anonymous sources in the intel agencies, that American citizens living in Moscow and St. Petersburg should leave right now. And so that's how they're pushing the propaganda that there's going to be some sort of false flag, and now that false flag is not going to take place in Ukraine, it's going to take place in Moscow or St. Petersburg. The Russians, for their part, are saying this is just crazy hysteria. There's no such thing in the works. This is just media fantasy. And actually, Zakharova made a good point, and I'll leave you with this point that Maria Zakharova made. She said, you know what, if the U.S. has this intel that there's going to be an attack in St. Petersburg or in Russia on Russian citizens and on foreigners by the Russian government, shouldn't the United States disclose that information? Shouldn't it disclose it? If it can't disclose it to the Russian authorities, because supposedly Russia's in on this, right? So it can't go to Russia because Russia's cooking this up. Shouldn't the U.S. go to the United Nations and lay out that intel at a minimum in order to save lives? Doesn't the U.S. have an obligation to go to various authorities and institutions, Security Council in the United Nations, and say, look, here's the intel we have. Here it is. We're laying it all out there. These are the attacks that the Kremlin is planning on its own people and on foreigners in Moscow or St. Petersburg. Shouldn't the U.S. do that? And Maria Zakharova is calling them out. She's saying, show us what you have. Take it to the world. Show the world what is about to happen in Moscow or St. Petersburg. And from the U.S. side, what do you have? Crickets. They're not saying anything. They keep it completely open-ended, right? There's going to be an attack in East Ukraine by the Russians. There's going to be an attack in Ukraine by the Russians. Now there's going to be attack in Moscow or St. Petersburg by the Russians. And the attack is coming from reliable sources in the intel agencies, and they know it's coming, and they've got dates of when it's going to happen, and they know it's going to target Russian citizens, and it's going to be used as a pretext to invade Ukraine and take over Kiev. But it's completely open-ended. Completely open-ended. It could be anything. It could be anything. They pulled the same stuff in Syria. And where did the false flags come from? Well, we know where the false flags actually came from. So that's the latest there. And I think it's a really smart point from Zakharova. And well, she's smart. She's smart and she's very clever and an excellent diplomat. And she said, if you have all this info, just show it. Just show it. And at a minimum, you're going to be saving lives, right? If you know an attack is coming and the Kremlin's cooking up an attack on its own citizens in the two biggest, most important cities in Russia, warn the people, warn the world, show it to the world what's being cooked up. Anyway, I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's any other news that I read this morning. There are a lot of saboteurs that are trying to break through as well into the Donbass. And from what I understand, this is from the Donbass reporting from Donetsk and Lugansk. They're saying that saboteurs are trying to break through, but they've stopped all those saboteurs. It's a nice dog right there. And anyway, that's it. I don't think I have any other news. We'll see what the meeting between Blinken and Lavrov, what happens there. We'll see what happens if and when Putin and Biden speak. But all of this would not be happening. The diplomatic effort would not be happening if it wasn't for the fact that the Donbass militia has been able to hold the line. So it looks like at the moment, and everything can change, at the moment, the Ukraine army is not able to get the attack that they wanted and to goad Russia into acting. So we'll see. we'll see what'll happen. This will not end in the next day or two. This is going to continue to go on and on because, as I said in many videos, it serves Biden on a domestic level. It serves NATO. It serves the military-industrial complex. It's a great distraction. You blame it all on Russia. Russia. And so, you know, it's working for the Biden White House. But it's, to me, this is just complete distraction and a complete media-made, media stage-managed fantasy. That's what this is. And the minute Russia takes action in Ukraine, any little bit of action, well, Nord Stream 2 is going to be canceled and the sanctions are going to kick in. I actually think the sanctions are going to kick in either way, and Putin said this as well. Putin came out in a speech and he said, look, they're going to put sanctions on us anyway. So to me, the only question remains is Nord Stream 2. When and if they're going to cancel Nord Stream 2, and I don't think it's going to take much at this point to cancel Nord Stream 2. I don't think it's going to take a Russian invasion of Ukraine. It'll take any little action, and then Europe is going to cancel Nord Stream 2. Anyway, guys, that's the video. The DuranLocals.com, Rumble. Check out Rumble, my channel, Alexander's channel, the Duran's channel. And you'll find a little red button up there if you're watching this from Rumble to join our locals directly. And Duran Shop, 10% off. Use the code GOODDAY. Take care.